We got another thumbs up, thank God.
Check.
Take two. Is it saying okay? Check, check, check. All right. It's John and Rachel. It's the behind the scenes Facebook Live. We love doing this because you guys have said that you want to see the people who we're talking to and really kind of find out what's going on behind the scenes. So here you go. This is our umpteenth one, so you're probably used to it by now.
So we had a false start earlier if
start.
you saw us on Facebook Live. So this is the Jagoff Podcast 2022 Fireplace Tour, sponsored by People's Gas. And what we do is, we do the podcast every week from somewhere. So in the winter, we take it to somebody's house who has a cool fireplace.
We invade their house and we say we bring them food so we can lay on their couches.
Right. So what you're going to see is behind the scenes, and we're going to start off with a little bit of music, and then you'll see how the podcast goes. You'll see people coming in and out. You'll see people eating Ernie Ritchie sausage, and we'll talk about that later. All right. We ready? All right, so right now, I guess we just kind of see Tim Vitolo play some music, right?
Yeah, Tim Vitolo.
See, that's what we're doing. Now, you would have thought, what we did is we walked in, the house was kind of raucousy. It was a raucous.
Oh.
Tim kind of calmed everybody down. So
I
we're
do
gonna
feel
talk,
calmer. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That is so
All right.
true.
So we ready to start the podcast?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Have you checked out our blog on Rorik.com? We don't want to flood inboxes with deals and spiels, rather fun and community events and incentives. That is what the blog is. Take a minute to visit the store to learn more about the vehicle that best suits you. As always, visit Rorik.com for all of your vehicle needs. And now we start the Jagoff podcast from...
Collier Township, is that what we're going to say? Oakdale?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Oakdale.
But we're not going to tell you where because
Don't say
we're
it.
live and we have free food here and you're not coming. So this is the Jagoff podcast, and when you listen to the edited version, you'll hear this kind of cool little music and everybody calling people Jagoffs. But we are here, as we said, in Collier Township, and we're doing our People's Gas 2022 porch tour. Stop number 3.
Fireplace.
Oh, Jesus.
It's bad whenever the homeowners have to tell you we're not on their porch.
It's the Fireplace Tour, and the cool thing about the Fireplace Tour is that, 1, we bring music to the house. 2, the owners get all kind of gifts.
Yeah, they do. And some of them are spread out here, but we have they're called Yin's lids. I'm sure if you follow us, you've seen. Yin's lids do these amazing, look at this. That is your new, if you are a sport mom, you can hide your alcohol of choice in there.
Every house. Listen, every house has a desert drawer full of these free things that you've gotten from everywhere,
look at
right?
that one.
But this one goes to the top because it says you Jagoff.
And then you also will get mailed Mary Mac Bakehouse. She'll send you all kind of really goodies. They're ingredients to make muffins and cookies and things like that. Yeah. We love to support small business. And then obviously thanks to People's Gas because you got some cool you got umbrellas. Who doesn't need a new umbrella?
Always need an umbrella.
Always. Constantly. And Ernie Ritchie Sausage, who has been doing this for 4 years, and we appreciate him so much.
And
for doing
Mancini's
so.
bread.
Mancini's.
Cool. All right.
Oh, and North Country Brewing, they're drinking our beer, Jagoff.
Yeah.
Listen, the only one not drinking it is Sally. We'll talk about that later.
Right. We almost had a party foul coming in here because the beer ended up on the floor at one point, but we won't even talk about that. They're drinking it, so that's
How
all
about
right.
our homeowners?
Right.
How
All
about
right,
our homeowners?
so these are our
You're going to somehow know Dawnlee.
Well,
you know this, right?
yeah.
Because there's some McKees Rocks roots, and I know you're going to dig them up. But Mike Vaughn, we've known very well because he is from the Wilson Group, who we get to work with on a regular basis, and we suckered him into doing this. So we're going to talk to them first up. But before we do, we have to remind you that we are part of the Odyssey app, and you need to follow us on there because you get the podcast first on Mondays on KDKA. You also will hear us on the radio on 100.7 Star every day at 4:55. and we talk about the talk of the town. Basically, well, we're supposed to say town, right? So everything going on in Pittsburgh that's worth checking out, we're giving you a little 2-minute dissertation. And we have a new segment with Elista called the E-Spot. It's a little risque if you ask me, but it's called the E-Spot, where basically we pull up a parking chair and say, hey, have you tried this yet? And then next up will be Y108 with the Jagoff of the Week.
Right. And of course, now we always talk about the Jagoffs that we write about on Mondays, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We talk about Jagoffs. And this week we posted a picture of a car in the Kennedy Township Plaza where there were no other cars in the parking lot. But a car was parked, and the second car came and parked right next to the other car.
But listen, do you know what John called it? The urinal rule.
It's the urinal rule, Mike.
Yeah, you got to be over to open the door.
It is not the urinal rule.
You got to be over to open the door to take a leak. Yeah, that's
in the urinal, you don't, when there are all these urinals open, you don't go up next to the guy who's peeing. You take you make a space, right?
That's
you
his
make
correlation.
Space.
See, I'm talking more about tailgating. The urinal rule is you have to go to the next one so you can open the door so you can pee.
You're exactly right.
I kind of like that better. It makes a little more sense. That's it. Listen, Mr. Wilson's getting in on the conversation.
And then we had a hockey fan, Jagoff. I don't know if you watched the Penguins games, but Jake Caulfield, I thought, was going to drop the gloves on a fan because they do those little live things at the set at the PPG Paints Arena. And there is some 40-ish-year-old man in a hockey jersey and a hockey helmet back there going like this behind Jay.
His nose against the glass.
Like,
so
what 40-year-old wears a hockey helmet to the hockey game? What?
You did wear a hockey helmet once, if you remember.
But
it was to a party.
It was at a Halloween party.
Yeah,
right.
all right.
So, anyways, those were our Jagoffs. And, you can listen to Y108 for the Jagoff of the Week coming up next Friday. But in the meantime, who do we have on this podcast?
We get to talk to, it's really cool we can finally say Mike is a friend. And thank you so much to his wife, Dawnlee, because they literally, you were suckered into this, I think, right? We told Sally
Sally made me do it.
Yeah. Sally made me do it.
No. We were happy to do it.
Well, we appreciate it. Tell us why you love this area. When we talk to different homeowners, we really want to know about the different neighborhoods where we kind of barge in. This place is beautiful. What is it about this area? Have you always, you're in McKees Rocksian.
I'm from McKees Rocks.
And I'm from Sheridan.
Okay.
So we're both city people.
Okay, city people, and you came out this way. What's great about your community?
We have been here in this house for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
So when we first moved into this house, there were 13 houses in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I think now we have over 100.
Oh, okay.
So the community is just growing. It's booming. There's so many kids. In the summertime, we got a pool. So in the summer, the last 12 years, 8 o'clock in the morning, there's kids knocking at our door, football games in the yard, baseball, wiffle ball games in the yard.
That's great.
Riding bikes. There's just kids everywhere, and that's what drew us here.
Yeah.
And the school district is good here.
Yes.
Yes,
right?
it's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Chartiers Valley is a great school district and was great for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you take us? What's that unique place here? Is there like that? Oh, have
Corner
you tried?
bar, corner
There's so many.
church to get a pierogi.
Right down the hill in Carnegie, we love.
Carnegie,
yeah, right on the table over there. There's a little place called Dagney's Eateries. It's this little tiny. Do you know Dagney's?
I don't, but I'm sure Michael Troiani does.
Yeah.
He's
Do you know
right in
Dagney's?
Carnegie.
Yeah, she has this little great breakfast lunch spot. Cinnamon rolls. Oh, it's just
see,
there's
that's what I
cheese
love.
right there.
Yeah.
I went this morning and picked it up. So
That's great. Well, we'll have to try
And
something.
the poorhouse is a spot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because I was like, that's what I know.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, right.
Now, if you go back to where you originally came from, Sheridan and McKees Rocks, what's a place you would make sure you have? Now that you live here in Collier Township, where do you go back home to the neighborhood to
Mancini's.
do? Mancini's. Okay.
Definitely.
Smitty's, the
so
greatest
smart.
bar in the country.
Smitty's?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We got to
I
go
wonder
there.
what that is.
We're in.
You have to go.
All right, we got to get them some of your Jagoff beer.
I don't
No
know
doubt.
bars.
Oh, they
Yeah.
would
John is
love it
always
there for
looking
sure.
for like dive bars.
Yes.
I
It's
love a good
it's
That's
a
the
great
best.
bar.
Yeah.
It's the best bar.
I mean, you can't grow up in the rocks without knowing dive bars.
Yeah.
There were 200 of them, right? So here we are, and Mike, you're with the Wilson Group, and we again disclaimer they're a client, but talk about now you are completely opposite of what Pittsburghers do. You're at least 2 bridge crossings away from work.
I am.
Right, and most
Yes.
Pittsburghers won't even cross one to get to work.
I know. And every morning I come in and Sally tells me, there's beautiful homes out this way. But I've said it's been almost 2 years now that I've been with the Wilson Group, and the only negative is the 2 bridges.
I'm
But
sure.
Yeah.
I would go go 4 bridges to get to that place. So
Oh,
it's
look
been
at
a great.
him. Look at him.
It's
He's
been
such
a great
smart
place.
guy. Do you work, Dawnlee?
I work at St. Clair Hospital.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you're nice and close.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice and close.
Okay.
So you
That's
live
why
here
we live
because of
here.
her. It's all her fault, Sally.
Yeah, she's nice and close. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I
That's
got
a great
you.
hospital.
Happy wife,
that's for
happy
sure.
life.
That's
right.
right.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is something that you guys like to do on your downtime? Because we know Mike from a work setting, so I mean, we could ask you to dish on him. We won't go there. But
I don't even know what downtime is.
Yeah.
Downtime.
Yeah.
We have 2. We have a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old. So
Yeah.
our downtime is spent at basketball games,
Yep.
baseball games. We never really have much downtime.
If we have downtime, we're usually in our basement with
Okay.
friends.
yeah.
Okay.
Now we're going to be drinking your Jagoff beer. all the time.
Definitely.
I have a picture of it.
We
I
know.
have a picture of it.
Which, I mean, I'm not going to tell you anything, but we know that people, once they put your Jagoff beer out, you talk about having a pool. Wait till you see if you put your Jagoff beer out in your front yard, how many people will come in here.
That sounds like a party.
You
Yeah.
better, yeah.
Yeah, it's because
We might have
end
to
up
have
showing up at some point. You
A,
should.
a
Let's do something.
podcast at the pool.
Sounds like Sally has a pool.
Then, hey,
Yeah.
then I'll be correct every time I make a mistake and say porch party.
You're gonna say fire. I know it. No, that's awesome. So they're talking about we're going to do a porch tour next is
Yes.
basically what's going to happen.
Right.
All right. So, Mike, we want to talk a little bit about the Wilson group. So we do have to bring in the other cohorts who are back there. It's
Well,
like
yes.
the office.
So we have
right?
to ask them the question of the day, right?
Question. Did you see my 3 questions? Did
No,
you decide?
I didn't get a chance. I was
I
driving
wish
in
you
the
could
snow
look
rage.
at them real quick and
Do
I
it.
could maybe.
All right, so before we go off to the Wilson group, we always have a question of the day.
But I want you to
And
look at them and decide which one.
I know. I was trying to get
Let
through
me. How
this.
about I'll
right.
ask one more question?
Right,
You
keep-
look.
Right.
All right.
Right.
All right. Sounds good. Why? I thought we were
Hello.
supposed to talk to a son who supposedly is very like
Oh, he's
non-camera
here.
shy.
He's
He's
here.
not
Yeah.
camera shy. What's his
I don't
deal?
know. He's being a little shy today, which is a
It
little
happens.
odd.
John brings that out in people sometimes.
I
You
hear
can't
him.
help
Where
it.
is he?
You want to get on?
He's like pounding. Yeah.
Matthew.
What- Matthew's like, read flowers in the attic.
All right, what's our question of the day? John, what's our question of the day?
Listen, you know what mine's going to be, right? You
Do
know?
it.
All right. What is
Matthew wanted to know if he did it though, if he would get paid.
union scale? Is
Yeah. Shoestring budget on our
All
end.
right, you know what I'm going to go to all the time, right?
think.
The last one,
I know.
right? All right, so question of the day for each of you. You have to answer separately. You're not allowed to cheat off each other's papers.
And Sally, you can't listen because you're going to answer too. I'm just kidding.
Right.
I know you're.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
So you talk a little bit about
Listen
dive
to
bars,
the-
right?
the
'Cause
crowd all went,
Well, here's the point. Every neighborhood has that place where you go, and that place
Yeah.
where you go always has that karaoke, right?
Yeah.
John loves bad karaoke. He lives for it.
I can't watch good
What
karaoke.
is your
I
go-to
have to watch the train
karaoke
wrecks.
song?
I'm going to go with Baby Got Back.
Oh
That's
my
such a good one. I've
God.
never heard that.
How about that? That's
I
good.
do that. That's mine every time. Every time.
How about that?
I don't have a karaoke song, but I do. Footloose is my dance to song. So yeah.
I think we have
That's
a
a good
pretty
one.
wide
Yeah,
floor
yeah,
right
no,
here.
no,
Go
no,
get
no.
your underwear and do it.
A lot more of you Jagoff beer before that.
Right.
happens.
Michael comes sliding
know
out in
all
his
the
underwear.
words.
I got a
Back,
slide
but
and
I
everything, so I need a whole.
Because I know every
That's-
word.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just stand there,
Nice.
bust a move.
Well, thank you so much for inviting us
Thank
to
you.
your home
Thank
and
you.
for
Thank you.
letting us twist your arm.
And we have to make
You get to go
room
eat
for
some
Sally and Derrick to come in.
Yeah,
so,
well, they're going to leave and let Sally and Derrick come
Yeah.
in.
We're going to.
Well, Mike's staying too.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
part of the Wilson group.
Okay.
You have to crowd.
Wow,
crowd.
Dawnlee, she doesn't feel rejection right now. That's okay.
Dawnlee, I'll move down.
right.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I
All
liked
right.
her immediately.
Derrick and Sally, come on in here.
I think
So
the three
this
of
is
them
obviously
should
where
share
we
this
bring
cup.
the
know that
next
we can
peeps in. I know, Colin. We should have. John and I should have sat over there, huh?
No,
Do you
no,
wanna
we
sit?
need it. No.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, no. We're,
I can go. I can.
Mike, you're fine. You're fine. Mike,
Here you go.
all right.
it's fine.
Okay, he said he wanted to be on the left.
He said he was.
John does that.
Derrick said he had a good side.
Mike,
so-
you're not
Right,
leaving. Come back.
right,
You're not
right.
leaving.
This is my good
Right.
side.
Oh, that's
Right.
your good side? That's what John does to me. He can kind of.
Lay across the back like
in the back
like the
like I
Andy
always
Warhol couch. Right. All right. So Derrick and Sally. So creators of the Wilson Group, just an awesome company, an awesome locally built, created, and thriving Pittsburgh company. We love it. And so Derrick Wilson, the Wilson Group, you started this thing, and you started with Sally. Love the story you guys told. So tell us a little bit about, maybe in a few minutes, like how you guys met and how you kind of you said, Sally, I think I got something for you here. So welcome, Derrick Wilson, and by the way, Sally, the new CEO, president. Of the Wilson Group. Can I get a
Cue the confetti? Cue the confetti.
So Derrick, how did you guys meet, and how did that story start?
Well, ironically, Sally was I used to be the VP of sales for Xerox, and she was a customer. And in conversation, as time went on, I had came to Sally, and I told Sally that, I really want to start my own business, and I would hope that she would want to be part of it, because I knew that it would be a perfect storm, because I have a strong sales background, but that's all I got. Sally has all the organizational, the financial pieces and operational that I didn't bring to the table. And I knew if we consolidated all that there would be no end to the future.
The lucky part for us is that we just wrote the press release, so we it's all fresh, to know. But Sally, it's your perfect opportunity to say, I love the fact that you had kids. You were like, never did you look back and go, I don't know. You were like, okay, when are we starting, kind of thing, right?
I really did. I just when he said it, I thought about it for about 30 minutes. I wrote an email back to Derrick that took me about 1 minute, and I said, yes, I'm in.
And the
and
rest,
we've never
10
looked
years
back.
later. Yeah.
10 years later, and a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
We did 80-hour weeks for the first year, but again, so worth it. It's so rewarding to be here now. I've had so many people reach out to me. We did a kind of a company party last Wednesday, and Derrick announced it. It got posted. Big old, industry analyst. Everybody in the industry reads it. I've had people reach out to me from people I don't even know, and it's amazing. And I'm typically humble. John and Rachel will tell you that they came to talk to me about this, and I'm like, I don't talk about myself. I talk about the company. I talk about Derrick. I talk about my people. I don't ever talk about me. So it was nice to kind of reflect on where we started and where we came from.
For people who don't know, give the nutshell of what it is, though, Derrick. What is the Wilson Group, and what was your vision, and what did it become?
So our tagline is that we're a host-to-post workflow solutions provider. So anything that delves into the creation, production, distribution, and sharing of information and documents, we can be of benefit and or service to you. We're the only local, independently owned, minority owned, and now we're woman operated.
I love it. I get
so we check all the boxes.
You really
baby.
do. You really do check all the boxes. That's what I love.
And let me just speak on Sally made a comment that is true. It's never been in her mind about her. And she's always given everyone else the accolades. And Sally is well deserving of everything and anything that she receives moving forward via the Wilson Group and in life. If it's not for her, we're not where we are today. It's called the but-for rule.
But for.
So,
But for Sally.
But
Yep.
for Sally.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I love the fact. So Rachel and I partnered like 5 years ago, right? And we text each other. She's up at 4:30 while Willie's getting ready to go to work. I'm up at 1:30. Derrick, just so you know, 4:30 happens
text
twice.
me at 4:30. His requirement is after 7.
Oh, there you go.
And I don't follow rules.
Oh yeah. I didn't say, Derrick, just so you know, 4:30 happens twice in the same day. No, but she's up at 4:30. I'm up usually till 1:30 in the morning, so we're kind of like almost have 24 hours covered. And you sit there and you go, why am I doing this, right? And I'm sure you both had that story, like, oh my God, 80 hours and this.
Well,
and
we've
this,
walked
and
away from their things saying, like, that's it.
And
That's
when
why.
can we ever make payroll and all these kind of things, right?
Oh,
and so
yeah.
you lived that. So we're sort of like 5 years, 10 years behind you guys, and about $52 million behind you, but the fact is, talk about, for anybody who's watching, who's, everybody, we all know that there's the big great resignation, right? So you guys went out and did your thing. We went out and did our thing. Talk about the craziness that you feel, the stress that you feel. Everybody thinks when you own your own business, you're rich from the start, right? So talk about the craziness and being up late and supporting each other, because one gets down, the other one has to get the other one up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When
That's
Derrick talks about the fact that I look at him and be like, I need to make payroll, Derrick. He's like, all right, I got to go sell. And he'll bring an order in so that we can make payroll.
Yeah.
That's it.
Knock on wood. We don't do that now.
Right.
But we did several years from the very beginning. It'd be like, all right, Derrick, I got to run payroll. And he'd bring an order in and we could run payroll.
Yeah.
So.
I used to say that I was so broke I couldn't pay attention.
Yeah. And
Right.
so the craziness, though, for any advice for someone who's done this already, like in the middle of how do you get through it if you have a partner, if you don't have a partner? Derrick, what are your thoughts on some advice for someone who's jumped to go do something crazy?
Well, I think the biggest thing that you have to do is you have to trust and believe that in spite of everybody else and everything else, that things are going to manifest itself. Mm-hmm. What you believe is what you become. And the benefit of what I had was that Sally held everything down, and all I had to do was go out and sell, and I could trust and believe that everything else was going to be fine. So that's something that maybe a lot of people don't have when they start a business, and that's been the blessing for me and for the Wilson Group, is Sally Andreaco.
Well, thank you.
I wish I could hear this every day.
But I'm going to come right back and be like, to be quite honest, the Wilson Group has been a blessing for me. I was at a stage in my life where my kids were going to college. My mom had just passed away. I needed something. And this gave me the opportunity to shine.
Yeah.
This is what I do. I mean, talk about it. Everybody here, I was being the director already because I wanted to know what we were doing. So, I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah.
So it
Do me
gave
a
me
favor.
an opportunity.
Do me a favor, pass the mic back to Mike.
Mike
to
gets the mic.
Mike. So then
the mic.
these guys are all started. They start this craziness going on. You kind of like the rookie out of Fresno State. You come in, right? For you're a free agent or something like
Fresno.
that. You come in. So what's it like for you to be pitched by these two to come work for them?
It wasn't a pitch. It was 8 drinks at a bar between Derrick and I.
At least he remembers it was only 8.
Coronas. During the right foot.
No, I'd been in the industry for 20 years, and obviously had competed against Derrick and knew him, and we had been going through a lot of changes at my company being purchased by Xerox, and a merger that went in place. So I actually reached out to Derrick on LinkedIn, and if you know Derrick well enough, it's shocking that we hooked up because he actually checked it. But we met on a Friday afternoon. By the following Saturday, I agreed to come work for him.
Wow.
It just we had a lot of the same values, a lot of the same initiatives. And then when I came and met with Sally, and Sally's first question to me was, do you consider yourself like, what did you ask me? Because I had mistakes inside my resume.
They didn't tell me that.
Oh, yeah. Do you consider yourself detail-oriented? And I said, kinda. She goes, well, because you have mistakes inside your resume. I said, well, I made it up 2 days ago because I haven't looked for a job in 20 years.
So funny.
But
And then we started.
yeah.
I started my first day with the Wilson Group was March 13th, 2020, when they shut down the country. And my wife came to me and said, you got to ask Derrick if you're still going to have a job. I said, oh, okay. So the first day I walked in, I said, are we going to be good? He said, we're going to be just fine. And I'll tell you, we've been more than just fine. We've been.
That's so awesome
It's
to
been
hear.
so great to work with the both of them. The passion every day. You want to go to work.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday, everybody was probably sitting at home. Our whole place was there. We had a full parking lot full of cars because we all wanted to be at work because we enjoy being there.
And we had a tagline. money don't sleep, and opportunities a perishable commodity.
DC, Colin, you get to hear this on our team meetings where we talk about the Wilson Group, and Ray weighs in, and Colin gets to hear, like, these are the characters. This is that's it. So we love it. I mean, it is. And what I love is John and I have said it's the genuine, right? It's that genuine feel that, you know, Sally, we talked about this when writing your press release. You sell so many different things. Like you said, anything you can imagine that a business needs, you basically can cover. And you mentioned Xerox, so it is copyright.
And Derrick will say, yes, we do that.
Yeah. And if we don't sell it, we do that day.
Sure. Sure we do.
Yes, we do.
And as we know, it is, you know, copiers. You do a lot of dealings with the school districts.
Rachel,
and things like
Workflow
that.
Solutions.
I know. I was just
Not
giving
just
people,
copiers.
Listen,
Don't argue with them, for God's sakes, Rach.
I'm trying to put it in perspective, Mr. Wilson. So, but I love that you've grown it to the needs because you've actually grown with the companies. Was my whole point. You've seen what companies need and what you need to develop for them to actually prosper. And that's what I love because you're not just sitting back and going, well, we sell copiers or we sell an Aquasport for a school. It's literally, wait a second, I'm on to something else. And that's your networking and relatability skills that really keep you in the market.
And speaking of on that, Michael came during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And if you know, during the pandemic, everybody was at home.
Yeah.
So Michael, Sally, and I spent a lot of our time strategizing in terms of our next move in the market and the industry while everyone else was at home and stagnant. And we opened up a document storage destruction business, computer peripherals, and managed IT, which has sustained us during trying times when everyone else was failing.
Yeah.
And now we've just added 3 pieces to our host to post workflow solutions, Rachel.
Quit. Sally likes me now, so I'm saying. Took a while.
Hey, and then I never got to worry about nothing because you got to get by Sally.
It took Mike 9 months. It only took Rachel 1 month.
Well, we love it, and we didn't even get a chance to talk about how gracious you are as far as nonprofits, support, and things like that. There's going to be a big announcement coming up that we won't blow on here, but you have to follow the Wilson Group on social media. So, listen.
Well, let's just shout out real quickly, though. The Wilson Group on social media is great. It's growing on Facebook, but we have found, and we find this so interesting, we have to say, their LinkedIn presence, and it's ironic that you said that you mentioned, you know, LinkedIn, getting in touch with Derrick on that way, but that doing their social media, we can tell you that's where people are living. They want to know more about them. You're these people in the industry that the business world want to know about. Sometimes Facebook is more just about the sociability. Yours is the business sociability, and I think that's the key. You know,
Well,
why
no,
there's
the
success there.
Craziness.
No, but I mean, you're not a business that's social on social media unless you're social people, and you are social community people. I always say this: if you're an a-hole in real life, you'll be an a-hole on social media, right? But if you're social people and very community oriented people like you are, that's the presence that you have on social media. So that's the part
Derrick
that's easy
has
to
these
pull
great
out.
quotes, and John goes, if you're an a-hole, you're an a-hole.
Yeah, can I get some clarification? Because you told me I wasn't allowed to cuss on here.
No, that's why I said a-hole. Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
People don't know what that means.
Yeah. Right.
You guys,
All right.
where does everybody find you on social media and the website? Mike, can you do it? Nice.
Right.
Same with the social media as well. It'll be in the show notes. Question of the day. I know you guys have had 8 drinks together, so I know you go to dive bars. What is your go-to karaoke song? Who's going first? Sally?
I don't karaoke.
Oh, Sally.
Come on. What would it
But
be?
I do
What's
love
your shower
to
song?
yodel, by the way.
Yodel? Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Hell no. Hell no.
All right. That's all right. She just Derrick did. All right.
That's
Mike,
okay.
what's your go-to karaoke song?
I told you I don't karaoke.
Oh,
I
that's
dance.
right. We
I'm
did.
footloose.
Yeah, we
He's
did that.
footloose,
Yeah, he's
that's
footloose,
right.
You
Derrick.
you got to get him on a TikTok. but mine ain't no karaoke. My favorite song is "We Are the Champions of the World."
Oh, that's what I do.
No surprise there.
That
No
is the
surprise.
Wilson Group. Coming up, you're going to hear some Tim Vitullo, and then we talk to
Mike Troiani.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
By the way, we do have
Careful.
wipes if anybody wants to wipe down the microphone.
So funny. Yeah, I think so. Please. Yeah.
Michael!
It's another day you can't have.
I know, right? I have to go there and buy something.
You guys, feel free
Michael, little wipes if you want to wipe down.
different atmosphere, right?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys do such a nice job.
We enjoy it.
Nice.
All right, so here we go. Now, this is going to be a little bit weird, Michael, so stick with me for a second.
Sure thing.
We talk about you a lot in the car, and we talk about the last time you were on the podcast. You defined Pittsburghese as far as the use of the tongue,
Right.
right? And you have a name for it, which we'll talk about in a second, but every time I slur my words, I go, that's what Michael's talking about.
He really
I'm not
does. He
using
says
my
it, yeah.
tongue. You identified that.
Thank you. Linguistics, it's part of linguistics. The Pittsburghese is an evolution of the English language to numb your tongue up with icy light and then just hold your tongue still
Michael,
as you speak.
You Jagoff beard.
Yeah.
You forgot.
And
I'm
it's
sorry. You jog off there. That's right.
it is so critical. I feel myself when I'm not even drunk. I'm just mad or I'm just talking fast that I forget that my tongue is part of the enunciation.
yeah.
And that's the key to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
yeah, but it's interesting
anyways.
because as you know, we shared what you had given us on, the vocabulary for Pittsburghese, and you're so right because it is a laziness. And I think it's one of those things where we can say it as Pittsburghers, somebody else better not say it. We can acknowledge the fact that we need to over-enunciate, but don't say it to us, right? Michael, we want to have you on regularly because we had such a good conversation. And as I was telling you, it's been almost a year since we've talked last.
Hard to believe it's been a
Way
year.
too long, yes. But in that year, you've done so many things. But I have to point out, when you were on last time, you were so interesting because you told a lot of Italian stories. You told a lot of stories about your forefathers and things like that we really were interested in. But since then, the business aspect has grown as well. You're in Carnegie. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the Carnegie area to kind of help us know what we need to be watching more of. Everything.
Yeah, Carnegie's logistically, it's in one of the best places in and around the city of just outside,
Sure.
but around the city of Pittsburgh, with the crossroads of 79 and 279, and we're vested there, and we've received the approvals from the local government to recommit to that site with the Papa J's restaurant operation there. So it's been a long road to earn that trust with the borough, and we're grateful for it, and we're working on the permit set to commit to that site.
Do you remember the last time he was on? Most of your conversations, and if you're watching and if you see in the photos, you'll see he has a Papa J's hat on. That was like the bulk of your we wanted to ask him a million development questions, but it kept going back to Papa J's because that was his roots.
Right, the garlic balls. I remember we
yeah,
even
yeah.
talked about that. But and I think it's interesting is that we somehow have you on this podcast because your family is so community oriented. And your business is so and the Wilson Group is so much
Yeah.
the same. Like they just want the betterment of the Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania area. And you aren't just a typical developer, as we do. Talk about that, just in case somebody didn't hear the previous podcast. Talk
Sure.
about how you guys, your ethos as far as developing properties, not just flipping them and selling them.
We're generational stakeholders. The Troiani family's been in Pittsburgh since 1913, and I'm in a fortunate position with my mother and my brother and my sisters to be responsible for some very important places in downtown Pittsburgh, in the Strip District, in Carnegie and surrounding. And I'm very fortunate to be able to be activating those spaces. So in Carnegie, we look forward to committing to a recreation of the Papa J's of the past, a sit-down dining restaurant with full service and event space. And in the Strip District, I'm excited to activate the Twin Plaza building in the next few months with the new Papa J's operation. And that's in an existing space, an existing permitted space. So it's a much quicker to the public. So I'm excited in the Strip District the important intersection of 21st and Smallman
I was
Street.
just going to say where exactly so people can understand. Yeah.
Right in the same building where Pamela's Diner, our
Right.
longtime tenant,
yeah,
situated.
okay.
Yeah.
And we're gonna we will self-operate Papa J's there, really made for the Strip District. So it'll be, instead of sit down full service, we'll do more counter service and more quick serve at the table with pizza by the cut. We're doing porchetta.
Oh,
and,
you got John on Pizza by the Cut.
rotisserie chicken, and we're making gelato fresh on site, and we're doing extruded pastas, so fresh pasta on site on the plate, and then we're also drying pasta and selling fresh pasta and prepared foods, because in the Strip District there's so many more residents in the Strip District.
Yes.
We want to offer a wide array of prepared foods and merchandise, prepared food and merchandise for the dwellers.
So if you've been jonesing for Papa J's and you're waiting there twiddling your thumbs waiting for Carnegie to come up out of the Phoenix up out of the Carnegie area, you don't have to wait that long, because you can
in
go
the
right
Strip,
down to
yeah.
the Strip District to get your fix.
The opening day is to be after May 12th. May
Okay.
12th is the flag for the opening in the Strip District.
Okay.
So you'll get your Papa J's fix in the next few months, and then Carnegie, it's a big project to bring out of the ground.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really exciting also.
So we'll go for my birthday lunch.
We're in.
Yeah. My birthday lunch will be there. I'm a May baby. What is it about? Why did you need to reinvent Papa J's? I mean, the obvious answer is, like you said, I love the generational, throwback that you make. But what is it? Did it nag at you, for lack of a better term? Was it like, I have to bring this back?
Hospitality, we're steeped in hospitality, and to take care of people, something that's just part of us. And when a family member has a life event to celebrate, I want to be able to receive them or host them or bring food to their house if they need, to celebrate life. And that's what the whole Papa J's spirit is, to beautiful food simply prepared to be celebrated with family and friends, and to be able to create a safe place and create a team of good people that can make an honest living and be proud of the foods that they produce and give the public a great experience is something that we know how to do very well.
You do.
And that we fell into an opportunity to it, and we actually didn't plan on it. But it just so happened that it was what needed to be done with the building. And it's exciting to be in the Strip District with all the activity and with, all the density and all the residential dwelling. It's stabilizing the Strip District. So I'm really grateful to be able to commit to this site.
Crazy
and
what the
activate
Strip District looks like now, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, with the terminal, with it's. I love seeing the Pittsburgh neighborhoods grow, obviously, but it is especially there. I feel like more and more when people say, "What's your favorite grocery store?" they're not saying Giant Eagle anymore, right?
Yeah.
They're saying, "I go to the Strip District and visit XYZ." So it's a multitude of places. Why? This is what's sticking with me, and I love the fact that you're going to actually sell the product as well and not just come in, other than you being happy with single slices. But why rotisserie chicken?
Well, it's a very visual event.
Okay.
In China, when they opened up rotisserie chicken in Walmart, the public broke through the glass storefronts. They were so excited about it.
I did not know that.
And it's a very very simple way to cook, really, rotisserie and spit roasting. And the chicken's exciting, but I'm really excited about the porchetta.
I bet.
And we're going to cook porchetta like the Italians.
And what is that?
It's pork belly and pork loin, and it's filleted very even. And then the meat is scored and saturated with red wine vinegar and apple cider vinegar. And then then essentially you make like a pesto with sage and rosemary and fennel fronds, the leaves from fennel.
That's your new thing.
Lemon zest, salt, pepper, and garlic. And you roll it up, tie it up on a spit. And fortunately, we have People's Gas Service at the site to be able to slow roast porchetta it's like a crunchy bacon wrapped pork loin, and it's something the Italians have celebrated for generations, and it's something the Italians love and are passionate about, and that isn't represented around here.
That is a good point. It's not. But wait, there's another connection, because I know you're like, yes, People's Gas. Tim Vitullo works for People's Gas.
Oh, yeah, is that right? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and that's how they knew each other.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, what a
We're
small
actually
world.
working on a new gas service for the building right now.
How
I'm
about
excited to complete the
That's
project.
funny.
So awesome. We didn't
Tim's
even know.
super talented, and to hear
That's
him
funny.
play
Isn't he great?
David Byrne on the lead
Yeah.
guitar, I'm just excited and in admiration of the skill sets.
There's yet another connection, Michael, is that
Yeah, you have to hear
we
this.
picked up the hot sausage today, and Ernie Ritchie starts telling me the story about his grandfather served your grandfather selling vegetables to all the local restaurants and things like this.
I love Ernie Ritchie. I was standing on the roof of the building looking outside, and I could see his silhouette from across the alley and knew it was him the other day. And I called up his shop, and the ex-wife of someone I've worked with for 20 years answered the phone. So, I mean, this is Pittsburgh. We are all connected, and Ernie makes the best sausage in town, in my opinion.
He really does. Well, that is a true story. My middle son is very, very particular, and I make sausage. It's one of the regulars, right? And we had Ernie Ritchie's for the first time, and my son said, Ma, you don't have to make it anymore. We could go to Mr. Ritchie's. And I'm like, that is fine by me to order Ernie Ritchie's versus having to do it myself.
I can make sausage, but I mean, Ernie's got the taste that you want.
No question.
It's like Jif peanut butter. There's maybe other kinds of peanut butter that are desirable,
who's
but I
eating
want
that?
Jif. There may be other kinds of ketchup that are available, but I want Heinz.
Right.
When I want sausage, I want Ernie Ritchie's sausage.
There you go.
Oh, my
That
God.
should be your next glossary of Pittsburgh. You do the Pittsburghese, now you have to do the glossary like
Sausage.
You can't have Hunt's ketchup, you have to have Heinz ketchup.
it's true.
You
Right.
Yeah, it is so true.
Michael, this is, again, it's great to see you, and it's so great that Papa J's is coming back. It's in May, as we know. And where can people follow what you got, the progress of the May startup?
We have two primary websites, Troiani.com, TROIANI.com, and that's where the family greater enterprises are detailed. And then Papa J's is available at PAPAJS.com. And then if ever, as you want to track the Pittsburgh Giggity Project, which is important,
Yes.
that's at PITTSBURGHIGITY. And again, the Pittsburgh Giggity is the project I work on with my daughter, where you can print where it's the dialect of Pittsburghese, where you say it a complete sentence in a single utterance of sound, like
That was
guy
what it was,
here.
Pittsburgh
That's right.
Giggity.
Yes, I
Yeah, I
remember it.
kept,
Yeah.
and I apologize because I did not do
Yeah.
my homework. I forgot.
No
that's
problem.
what it
Yeah,
was.
I'm telling
You
you,
two are
I think about
wonderful.
you every week
Oh,
with that.
thank you.
That's so
Well,
funny.
Really, all these
We
people, what a great party you've put together
we enjoy
here.
you, and we love being around Pittsburgh people who appreciate each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about.
I mean, you're clearly a guy that had the means to go wherever you want, and you stayed here with your
we
family.
talked about that.
I feel a responsibility here.
Yeah, I love it.
That's what I love. So we will obviously keep people posted. I mean, talk about LinkedIn. You're on LinkedIn all the time, pushing all these different things because they're important to you. You're pushing them because you're passionate about them. And we will certainly be sharing, especially the closer it gets to May, so that people can come out.
I look forward to welcoming you both as
Sounds like-
guests soon.
It's
we
a
can't wait.
tailgate
We'll
for
tailgate
sure.
it. Yeah,
That-
for
we're
sure.
tailgating that.
You're not getting away without telling us your karaoke song.
I don't often karaoke, but I did have a really impressive performance of old time rock and roll on the second grade talent show. So
Okay.
next time I belly up at Cappy's, I think
Can
I'm
you
going to
play it?
sing old time rock and roll.
Take those old records off the
I love
shelf.
it. Michael,
I
thank you
sit
so
and
much
Thank you.
listen to
for
them
coming
by
on, taking time to
myself.
come on our podcast, and coming to Michael and Dawnlee's home. We appreciate that. It's crazy.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
cool.
All right, next up is Uncle Jammy's. We're excited. Thank you, Michael. And then Colin will absolutely. Colin will get your video, and then we really will tailgate whenever it gets closer. We'll just be,
Thank you. Always good to see you again. Come on in.
Should we have him bring on his seasonings? Do you want to grab your seasonings? We'll show it.
Oh yeah, we'll put them right on the table.
Well, can you tell in the years I haven't become a I'm gonna go with the red mic.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the colors.
There you go.
Hey, it matches your shirt.
So I hate these moments where John has interviewed someone before, knows someone better than me, but I appreciate them because then I get to learn a little bit more. I only met you today, but I've seen you a million times. I obviously follow everything that you're doing, but I'm the one who does the research, Jamal, and I found out, he was like, oh, we have to have Uncle Jammy on. We have to have Uncle Jammy on. He's great. He's great. Take his word for it. But you have a, not Penn State, you have a state college affiliation, and I want to hear, is that where it all started?
Yes.
Okay.
And just so you don't feel bad.
Yeah.
We're like halfway through with like the 10-year challenge of me being on like Jagoff.
Okay.
It's like 2017. So
Yeah,
Okay,
it was-
all right.
yeah,
That's
we
fair
got
enough.
we
Oh,
got
yeah.
like a lot of stuff to cover.
We do have a lot to cover.
Plus,
Yes.
the fact that I have a new assistant is the
Okay.
reason this all came together because
Right.
I've been putting all kinds of stuff off, but she's just been zooming through
Oh,
stuff.
I'm so glad to hear
So-
that. Well, for people who don't know, and I apologize, I jumped
No,
right
do it.
through the beginning, but for people who don't know, I don't know where you live, but you are basically known for every condiment or every ingredient that would go into anything that tastes good, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So sauces and rubs and things like that.
Yeah.
People know you because you basically have a pop-up to sell them. Is that sort of good to
Yeah, I
in
had
a nutshell?
I had a huge pop-up mentality. That's why you guys know me.
Yeah.
It's like guerrilla marketing.
Well, yeah, because I was everywhere. 2017 and 2018, I basically tried to just kill myself and just do every event. I mean, I looked down and there was like 155 events, and then like 2018 was like 167 or something. And that's just events, you know, where I went to and I had like sheets to pay off stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's not including like production days and any other days. So yeah, I went hard those years and I almost like burnt myself out. So, and then I kind of reduced it a little bit in 2019, and then everybody in the world knows 2020 took it down, did the Captain Planet, took it all the way down to zero.
Right.
Well, not zero for me, because I did the Home and Garden Show was the last thing I did in
so that was
2020.
spring-ish,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, that was like, Home and Garden Show was right when everything, like right in the
Yes, you're right.
shutdown.
Yeah, right.
We got shut down middle of that show, so that's where everything happened.
Okay.
It's just like it's, you know, and that's kind of, believe it or not, that's kind of when, you know, take out a couple of weeks, and that's when the turnaround happened, because there's a lot of stuff that happened before then. But I don't know if you want me to go into that, or you want me to go
I
back
want
to
you
State
to tell
College.
your story. You tell us.
Yeah. But you know what? The cool thing is that we also, you know, you have an assistant. We will certainly give her credit, but we also have to give credit to Doug Durda, because
Yeah.
Yins Love Barbecue.
Oh, yeah,
Doug
I'm sorry.
has always
Doug.
said, you got to have him on the podcast. You got to have him on the podcast.
Oh, I know, yeah. Doug, I still owe Doug a mac and cheese fight, because he said this other place was good at mac and cheese, and the one thing I've been like, I'm a little obsessive compulsive about stuff, but not like the clean your apartment, like
Yeah, right.
make
OCD. Yeah,
recipes. Nothing that's gonna make me like more appealing to have people over, but I've made
I gotcha.
I've made like 50 mac and cheese recipes. There was a stretch where my neighbors were just getting tired of mac and cheese.
I see.
I almost pushed them out. So yeah, I owe Doug that. We did a podcast together, Hop Nation USA, and then that's when I met Doug, and we've been going back and forth. He actually reviewed the products. I finally gave him, you know, all the products, got him to just write up a nice review. So Doug,
He's such a
Great
good
guy.
he's such a good guy.
He's such
yeah.
a good Doug. Yeah. But
good
so
Doug.
back to Rachel's question, the Penn State connection, and
Yeah,
what leads you to taking your life and making all kind of
Here.
seasonings, right?
well, I mean, if you look at our About page, I kind of go really into depth, but oddly enough, I'm a weird individual. It started with me turning cocktails into cakes as just like a punk, like 22, 23-year-old. And just somebody from the restaurant kind of, saying, noticing that I kind of did creative stuff. I did enter a barbecue sauce contest. I think it wasn't McCormick's or something, but it was some magazine.
Okay.
So I brought it in, but I had completely forgot about it. But and while I was doing the cakes, somebody was like, you want to make sauce for wings? And so I did. but I did it in my own way. So I did somebody did a Chipotle barbecue, and I did like a Chipotle ranch, and then my Area 51 sauce, which is just that neon green sauce. I don't know if you've had it before or not. But that's where that came from, and then that kind of parlayed into me just kind of loving how all the mathematics and everything and
work
doing
together.
That.
Yeah.
And that's the point. It is the formula, right? It's the mathematics of what works with what to kind of get it to. Hey, this isn't bad.
I have a tinkering mindset. Doesn't help me in fantasy football, but it helps me in here.
Yeah, right.
So.
But did you live in State College? Is that where you started?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started out at Penn State. I'm 41-year-old freshman still.
Okay.
But I stayed there, 10 years before I moved here to Pittsburgh in 2010.
And were you working at, was it Red Lobster? Did
Yes.
I do my research
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're in the kitchen there, and people were sort of saying, like, hey, can you make this kind of thing? That I'm sure had nothing to do with Red Lobster.
Oh, yeah, nothing. Like, I would just bring in a cake
Yeah.
randomly.
Yeah.
Just randomly. Not unprompted. I would just turn a drink into a cake and then just bring it in unprompted. Like, nobody paid me, nothing. I just, that's just kind of
It's
what I was
what you
into.
do. Yeah.
Exactly.
It was your tinkering.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, try this.
Exactly. That's what I kind of do. That's what I've always been known for. If you look back on it, it's just, hey, I did this,
Well, you remind me of Derrick, and
it's all
your story is so similar to Derrick, in my opinion, because you were again guerrilla marketing, right? You're just I'm just gonna take this one bite at a time. I'm gonna go to this show and sell this many things, and then go to this show and sell this.
Yeah.
And Derrick was the same way. I'm gonna go sell one copier, and then I'm gonna go sell two copiers, and very much a similar, just grassroots, organic, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
always say
And I
organic.
think. Not to jump around, but
No, you're fine.
to jump back in. To segue back into the, what I was getting at, when right after the Home and Garden show, I was in. I'm not gonna lie, I was in terrible shape as a business owner, because I needed the last 3 days just to break even, just to get back to zero and have all my bills paid. And then obviously that Friday, that's when, everybody shut everything down, and we're like, you have to go, and we had to pick all our stuff. I was just telling them I'm not a morning person, but we had to come back in at 9:00 and get all our, break down our booth and everything. So, but the segue, I don't want to talk about, kind of that. I'm just kind of setting the tone. Big downer for me.
Gets rough,
I was,
right.
Couple of weeks I took just to, pout and everything, but then, just kind of the voice inside my head was like, is this what we're going to do, kind of thing, and I decided not. So, excuse me, sorry.
You're fine.
I got regular sick the last week. Negative COVID
We understand.
test.
We're fine.
I got
Yeah.
sick classico, basically.
Yeah.
Classico.
Regular sick. I like regular sick, yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if it's catharsis or whatever it is, but I made a decision, that I wasn't going to let this be. I wasn't going to let it end here, and then they had kind of the pause in between that kind of pity party. They had the pause on all the bills and everything, and I was like, I said to my buddy Dennis from First Sip Brew Box, I was like, we could either choose to, just be the same, be worse, or be better coming out of the pandemic. And, I was like, I'm going to choose better. So I got on my horse. You guys were on here, but I was getting grilled about where you could get the stuff at. And that's when I got just the gumption to be like, you know what? I'm approved to be in all the stores in the Mid-Atlantic region and Whole Foods. So that's when I went after, made all the phone calls, asked them if I could send them samples. At that time, I only had Wexford and South Hills for the Whole Foods. Did all those phone calls. It took a whole week just to get in touch with all the buyers and everything else like that. It was oddly really receptive some were like lukewarm. The DC store was like, because he was like, oh man, I saw your letter, because I sent letters out before I called.
Okay.
He was like, yeah, order before, like 3 minutes after the call. So I was kind of filled with like momentum, because like that order, he was just like, yeah, because I was kind of down, because I got a couple no's, and I got to DC,
right.
and then it was like, boom, order in, and this is for real. This could work. We ended up getting 11 stores out of the 16, bring our total to about 13. We picked up a 14th a little bit. I forget which other store. It was like the last straggler to come on. We got 15 now with Old Town in Virginia.
That's wonderful.
So while I was doing that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hit up Giant Eagle again, because they had switched their buyer. We had some kind of like flirtations. I had tried to get everything together, and he got promoted, and he was like, the whole process starts over because there's a new buyer. So I just sent her emails. I was like, hey, listen, I know we can't do anything, but let me just, like send samples. It was Lene and Paul Abbott at Giant Eagle. We did some stuff over Zoom. And it's crazy because Whole Foods is my first grocery store, so I was a lot more polished than a normal just person off the street. And I'm actually going to be doing a Zoom call with them on the 15th to kind of, I'm like part of the panel
15's your lucky number.
I know. But yeah, it's stuff like that where it's like, I was very.
It's the grind.
Yeah, because I had already done the stuff, so I could answer their questions.
Sure.
They were like, I was already going to go with Three Rivers Grown. You have to have like a distributor for Giant Eagle, so I had that. I was able to answer the questions. I was able to answer, how my Whole Food stuff was doing, and I could tell them, well, hey, I'm at 13 Whole Foods now, because even if it's a week old, it's true.
Yes.
And stuff like that. So it kind of built, because it was like an effect to kind of build off those things. So now, I got the Market District. That order was huge. And, I went from the middle of March not knowing what to do, and then now I had to go produce to have a big order come up. So
Sure.
that's a general.
I love the grind. Yeah. I love the grind. And you talk about Derrick and Michael, everybody that's been on this podcast is, as you said, the grind, right?
It is the grind.
Yeah.
And you take away timing, right? Timing's everything.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you didn't give up.
And passion,
I don't mean to
right.
mother you, but basically you didn't give up. You went back, you pitched it, you said I'm more polished. You didn't whine that, it was because of this, or this. You went back and said, I'm going to try this again because I have a better pitch.
Yeah, and his phrase was, I'm not going to go out like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, and then that's what happened, and then the whole get-go thing happened in the beginning of the 2021, where I just get a voice message from Tom Seaman at, get-go, and it's like, because when you're trying to be somebody different, the old you was still in there. So there's always some skepticism, like, what is going on?
Yeah, sure.
You're getting a call from like get-go, but then
Yeah. Did he offer you free gas?
He did not.
right.
He's in the kitchen part. I wish.
Yeah.
But, he calls me up, and then it's like, somebody, from get-go gave us some samples because they had like a big meeting. And he's like, we want to do something. And that's how the sandwich came to be. And we worked. That took almost everything out of me because I was one person just kind of just talking with each of their departments. So it was like it went down to the wire too. 11th hour, everything got done. But that was even crazier. But that was a huge accomplishment too. Just feather in the cap.
You are a huge accomplishment,
Yeah,
right?
you are.
That's kind of the theme of the podcast has turned out to be. But before
Do you feel inadequate?
I do,
Me
right?
too.
Yeah. And the good news is, Jamal, we told everybody they didn't have to be quiet in the background.
I'm like,
because it would have never happened anyways.
I'm like,
right?
Jamal,
Where does everybody find your stuff?
Okay,
online.
obviously, UncleJammys.com.
Yep.
I just had to pay to get something fixed on the website. So
Okay, good.
Stick it in my craw. But UncleJammys.com, you can go on. The shirts are available. I'm actually wearing one.
Get it. Get it.
I would have just...
As we're listening to the podcast, oh, there it is. It's his
the
face, which
face.
is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
It looks just
Wait,
like
We
him.
got
we
that.
can't let him go without knowing why Uncle Jammies.
Uncle Jammies? Well, I have like 5 nieces and nephews between my 2 brothers, so that's the uncle. And Jammy is my nickname from state college days. Pittsburgh kind of calls me Jam Jam. But
Of course we do.
Yeah.
Of course
Got
we
to
have
change
to.
it up. You got to be different.
Yeah, we have to be different.
But
Uncle
we went with
Jammy's.
that because, originally when we met, it was 412 Barbecue.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Still doing catering under that. Trying to get some other stuff.
Okay.
But Uncle Jammy's, the brand kind of
I love it.
took off a
It's
little
so
bit better.
Pittsburgh.
It's so right.
Pittsburgh.
You just took the words out of my mouth.
So everybody can find you on social media. Go to your website. Order
Yeah.
the stuff.
Uncle
check you
Jammy's
out.
PGH for the social media. All the ones, Twitter, Instagram.
All of that.
Trying to get together, like a Pinterest page. We got stuff, LinkedIn and everything else. Gonna work on, I'm 41. I have joint pain, but I'm still gonna try to do TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff.
Listen,
You'll have more joint pain after you
we
do
are
TikTok,
45 and
Yeah.
older,
Right.
and we're working on TikTok.
I know.
So in that, so what would be your go-to?
No dances though. No.
What
No
would be
dance-
your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my God.
I know you heard the question, Jimmy Jam.
No, I don't know. I probably I wouldn't sing, but I'd make everybody else sing. The happy song I always have that gets me out of the bad moods is El DeBarge's "Rhythm of the Night." I can never be mad. I know it's out there, but I can never be angry after hearing that song.
That's
so
funny.
That is a good song. I was just channeling
yeah,
it.
you can't, especially when he hits that oh.
He was
You can't.
good.
You can't. Oh, baby, you can't be mad. Like, it's almost impossible to be mad.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be mad.
I love it.
I thought you were gonna say Pharrell's "Happy," and I was gonna be like, I can't stand that song because you're like happy.
No, you gotta. Happy's good, but it's not.
It's not it.
Yeah.
Didn't
You
nail
gotta
it.
have a little bit more energetic.
Sing it. No, wait,
that
you
song-
want us to have you sing it as we go out the break?
No,
Okay.
no. My voice is terrible. I got the part. I sung enough just a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We
Coming up next,
appreciate it.
we're
You're the
going to
best.
get
Hey,
to
thank you
Everybody
so
follow
much.
you. You're welcome.
coming up next. We're going to get to talk to Tim Vitullo, who has been playing music all through this podcast.
Perfect. All
Cool.
right. That was awesome. Thank you so much. You can both come on over, and then we'll get you to play out. Yeah, we'll talk real quick, and then get you to play us out. Awesome. Colin just needs a video. Thank you so much. So nice to meet you.
Thanks for doing this. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's good to see you again.
I know. It's been so long.
It really has been.
Good to see you, Michael. Thank you.
See you. There you go. All right. Cat.
Yes.
Right. All right. Ready? Because I always mess it up. Now, as soon as I go on there, I'll say Kathy. All right. Ready? All right. So
That's fine.
Facebook Live, you are behind the scenes, and we are still at Michael Vaughn and Dawnlee's house here
If
in
you
Collier
hear us
Township.
screaming, it's because the
And
party is like kicking up, and
Right,
we're talking
This
loud.
is exactly. We should turn the camera around and show you everybody's
They're a
partying
loud
over
bunch.
here. So we have Tim Vitolo and Kat here, who you've been hearing in the breaks in between each of the guests. So Tim, big fans. Kat can say I'm a big fan because I haven't met you yet. But the fact is, I enjoy when this is no lie. When I'm trying to kind of chill or relax I go through Instagram. And I go to Tim Vitullo's Instagram.
He's not kidding.
And he's going to go, I'm going to put my microphone down because he just sits there going, ba-ding, ba-ding,
Yeah.
ba-ding, ba-ding.
He's like, I was bidding the ding, ding, ding.
He's doing the ba-ding ding guy thing.
Yeah.
And he's playing these fingering movements or measures, whatever it is. I don't even know music, but they're so calming. It's like a cup of, I don't drink tea, so it's like a cup of tea for me. So welcome back to the podcast.
Well, welcome back. We saw that you were going to be at Carmela's.
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, we need to go. And I don't recall. It was a kid thing that came up, and I'm like, we didn't make it, which is a bummer. But we know that you're at the Hard Rock coming up.
Yeah.
Is that right?
February 18th, Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, explain to me, is that like, wow, this is good? Is playing at a Hard Rock like cool? Or are you that guy that's like, I just like playing unique places?
Yeah, I'm definitely more the latter.
Yeah.
Every room is special, and every room kind of has a magic to it.
Sure.
Or something about it that makes it unique or the experience memorable. And,
Yeah.
I know we're really excited. We're opening up for a band out of New York called Hollis Brown, and they're like a good old-fashioned kind of rock and roll band.
Okay.
Which is nice. We get asked to do a lot of different things, be
Yeah.
it play on a podcast or play a little solo thing in a bar or
Yeah.
in a coffee shop or what have you. So it's kind of fun to get to turn the amps up a little bit.
I'm
and
sure.
Be a rock and roll band.
Now,
for the
Kat,
night.
we've only interviewed Tim. What is your connection? Have you guys is this a duo thing that's happening, or are you in the full band version?
I am also in the full band
Okay.
version.
Okay.
Yes.
We had some personnel changes at the end of last year.
Okay.
And yeah, Kat rocks. I'm like, I don't know how this happens. The embarrassment of riches of great musicians that I've had play with me. I mean, from your dad's thing and other times you've seen me. I mean, it's absurd. I mean, they make me look so good.
No, you are so good. You are. I know
Yeah,
you're
he's amazing.
excellent as well. But what is it like? And I've asked this question to a couple different people, but we're trying not to like overdo COVID, right? We've all been through it, and we know it's still here. It's all good. We get it. But there was this time where musicians were struggling so badly because where do they find their outlets? So everybody was in an attic or in an area, you know, playing over Zoom or whatnot. What is it like? What's the dynamic like now, band versus duo? Is that happening, or have we not come to that where people are just like, I'm fine with either? What's that looking like right now, the temperament?
I mean, you can chime in. Like this time of year, we're doing more duo stuff.
Because of the weather.
Yeah. Inside spaces
Smaller,
a little bit smaller.
yeah, sure.
But
But the bands are not dead, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right?
they're
That's
still,
the point.
They're still alive and kicking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of music? Now, we don't struggle, but we say Tim kind of covers all these unique little things. What is your genre?
I would say we're like a jam band.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to play.
I love that.
And so
yeah.
to join in with this is just
I think it should
it's
be
awesome.
called the Jammy Jam Jamal Band, to
Jimmy
be
Jam,
honest
Jam,
with
yeah.
There's a collaboration here.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Jamal.
But when
Jamal,
you
they want to
say
be known as
jam
the
band,
Jam Band.
To me, a jam band means you start playing a riff and you join in. Is that what you mean by that? Or is it more of like eclectic in the sense that so many different things blend?
I could say both even.
Okay.
And we do have songs like Tim has written his songs that are more Americana sounding, and even what we'll do with those is we get to a solo part or the end of the song and we'll take it somewhere
Kinda
else.
Yeah.
Or just
anything goes.
continue with the jam that's already happening. That's all.
So it's
part
like
of
a
it.
love that.
jazz, but a rock
Yeah.
kind of, or
Americana,
a
I
rock
like
and
this.
soul.
Yeah,
kind-
yeah.
Yeah, it's really, and that's what's really exciting about this latest lineup is the four people we have in the band. Everything's changing all the time. So it's our motto has been big ears, small ego. So
Nice.
There you go.
always listening, and everybody's kind of, it's like making this like paella or this stew, and everybody's throwing a different ingredient in, and you're like, oh, well, now it's spicy, so let
Yeah.
me put something else in to complement
great
that. Or
point.
now it's salty, so let me add something sweet to kind of bounce off all those ideas. And it's really fun, and for us as players, really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be challenged in that way.
Yeah.
To kinda
So
get out of
if
that.
people want to follow what you're doing, where do they follow you online?
Yeah.
Go to John's apartment and listen to you.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Yeah, you're hosting listening parties now.
I'm
I think
in.
that's
I'm in.
yeah, but all the social media stuff, it's at Tim Vitullo online on all the platforms. We're using still Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music and Google Play. You can ask Alexa.
I
play
love
music.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Okay.
love that.
Cool.
Kat, you have any dirt on Tim? You have any dirt on like how long it takes him to fix his hair or anything like that?
Oh,
You
see,
know,
I don't
any-
even know yet. I will
Okay.
say that I've never seen it not perfect. So
Okay,
yeah.
not neutron.
I think we
I'm
have to
looking
have
for
We
a.
it.
haven't,
No, I'm
we haven't
waiting.
got on the road too long yet. This
I think-
summer, I'm sure it'll.
I think we have to have a hair out with who's Richie Walsh on K2K TV and
God.
Tim Vitolo. That's what we
That's
have
good
to
hair.
have.
That's
Yeah,
good hair.
that's-
And I
yeah.
also
Sign up for
think
that.
Well, yeah.
if we are doing tailgates, we need to tailgate prior to them being at the Hard Rock Cafe
No
because that's
question.
going to be a great
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
So we'll do
They've-
that before
they've
the
redone all
18th.
that stuff down at Station Square.
Yeah.
It's been happening now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All
And I
right.
love the fact that there's more and more places to play. You know, like you said, coffee shops, anywhere. I mean, a living room. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, I think that's something that, a silver lining to that whole scene happening was, we were forced to get a lot more creative. So it got away from, hey, you have to play at big stage A or big stage B.
And that's it.
And you have to bring 50 people and you have to turn your amps up really
I love
loud.
it,
And that, and there's a whole audience. Like, it's funny you mentioned, like, some of the people who come to see me at Carmela's, like, won't come to the Hard Rock because they don't want
Right.
a big loud rock band.
Sure.
They want easygoing singer-songwriter.
Yes.
So
Yeah, well, I love Carmela's, so I'll mention it anytime.
Well,
Right,
it's crazy because chefs have done this as well. Chefs will go and do private parties,
Yes.
and that's kind of what musicians are. All right.
Question.
So, question of the day. You can't get out without
Kat, don't even say. I know you're shy. I can see it, but you better tell us your karaoke song.
I've actually been sitting over there thinking about it since the first person
And?
you asked, and I still didn't come up
Oh,
with anything good. But I would say maybe like Gypsy, Fleetwood Mac. I can do a
okay.
decent
That's a
Stevie
good
Nicks
one.
impression.
Okay.
So
it.
yeah.
That's
that's a good pick. Also, like John, like good karaoke has no place in my life.
No.
I don't need
Right.
that. I can watch American Idol or
Right,
The Voice
that's
if
exactly
I want to
right.
see that.
Right.
Right.
If I want to see karaoke, it's got to be bad. So I choose a terrible
right.
song. It's Benny and the Jets.
Oh, wow.
Impossible
It's
song
your
to
boy.
say.
Yeah, wow.
But Benny.
song.
That
and
was
the
a love-hate
Jets.
relationship right there in that same sentence for me because I love Benny and the Jets. But I love bad karaoke. All right. Can
gonna
you
play us
download
out.
any albums or anything like that? Spotify, just all the music's right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
All right,
Check
cool.
us out online, timvitullo.com. Like I said, search Tim Vitullo.
Got it.
Anywhere music is digitally streamed or sold. We're hopefully going to have some new stuff coming out this year, which we're excited about. And then gigs are coming in, thankfully.
Yes.
It's kind of a nice thing.
Oh,
to be
I'm
sitting here
so
in winter,
happy.
like, hey, I got a bunch of gigs this year.
Yes.
Here's what we got. Here's what we're going to do. We've never done this before on a Fireplace tour.
shoot.
You guys are going to play, and we're going to flip the camera on, and everybody over there in that kitchen is going to sing. Everybody's going to
That
dance
needs
and
to
sing
happen.
while you play, all right?
We
So
like it.
Tim and Kat are going to play
guys,
us
thank you
out.
so
We're going to
much.
flip around.
If you want somebody to dance, you gotta play Footloose or Mike.
Do you want me to? Whew, John, we're yelling a little bit because of
Right.
our crazy crowd,
Right.
but it's worth it, right?
Right.
So thank you, obviously, to our homeowners, Dawnlee and Michael Vaughn. Thanks to the folks at the Wilson Group, Sally Andreaco, who's now the CEO, Derrick Wilson, who's the namesake, and obviously Mike Vaughn yet again. And thanks to Jimmy Jam, Jamal, I
Right.
mean,
And Michael
what
Troiani.
an entrepreneurial story.
Right.
And Tim Vitolo, who's, of course, one of our favorites.
And thanks to Rorik Honda.
And thanks also, obviously, to People's Gas. They're the reason that we're doing this tour, and we're super excited. We have a tip on here that you can actually go click on, and you can find out tips from People's Gas.
And thanks to Rorik Honda. Have you checked out our blog on Rorik.com? We don't want to flood your inboxes with deals and spiels. We don't. Rather, fun and community events and incentives. That is what the blog is. Take a minute to visit the store. Learn more about vehicles that suit you on Rorik.com. And here goes Tim and Kat.
yesterday. People everywhere, young lovers reclaiming the old ways. It makes me wonder, are they destined for heartache? 'Cause at every party, change is the last guest to stay. Say goodbye to life as we know it. Say goodbye before it's gone. Say goodbye to life as we know it. Say goodbye before another one dawns. Before another one dawns. Before another one dawns. Before another one dawns.
That's it, everybody.